Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Two Dudes Talking. I'm DJ Schroep. That's Dustin Ovitz.
What's up?
Let's get into it. We got a awesome card. UFC 251. Let's start it off. First off, would you buy it? Would you steal it? Or would you watch the highlights? Which one does this fall into?
I'm buying it. I'm gonna rewatch it. I'm gonna watch it when they post it to ESPN Plus or wherever the hell they're posting it. This card turned out to be amazing. I mean, it was amazing before, and then with all the COVID stuff, which we'll get into later,
yeah,
it somehow got better. I don't
Look,
know how
I'll tell you. Usually pay-per-views fall in one of those three categories. This one's definitely one you need to purchase and watch live as it's happening. It's so funny because usually when a fighter drops out of a main event, it doesn't get better, but this actually got better. With Jorge Masvidal stepping in. I mean, this was the fight that was supposed to happen to begin with, right? So Masvidal had his issues with pay, with Uncle Dana and the UFC. It looks like they have settled that for now with a 10-fight deal.
Well, I have a question about that. But
yeah.
We'll answer it afterwards, but I'm going to ask the question now. So Dana said Masvidal, or whomever, we'll say Dana because he's the face, had said he had just signed a deal in like April or March for, X amount of fights. I don't remember the number.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, Masvidal says, hey, I want more money, kind of goes away for a little bit, and now he's signed a new 10-fight deal. So which one is it? Because he kind of got it both ways. But let's talk about the fight first, and then I want to get that topic.
Yeah, let's talk about this card. I mean, usually we'll just stick to a main event, but I think all of these fights have some sort of implication within career titles, etc. But Kamaru Usman versus Jorge Masvidal, like I said, the fight that was supposed to happen to begin with until money got in the way, and then this guy Burns, just completely dismantles the former champion Woodley and propels himself to number one. Masvidal being number three. This guy's been fighting for 20 years this guy has risen from the backyards, a la Kimbo Slice, all the way up through the ranks into, the number one MMA league in the world. And this is going to be an amazing fight, but you have to say, everybody's saying, Masvidal's been training. He's been continuing training. He's one of those guys. He's always ready for a fight. When you're taking on a guy like Usman, do you need more than a week? Or was he always just this was always the plan? Like, look, if he drops out, I'm going to be ready. Has the UFC by the balls and says, I'm ready. Let's go.
Well, I have a lot of thoughts about this fight because we talked about it before we started recording. Look, I can't pick against either guy in this fight.
Yeah.
I like them both as fighters. As you mentioned, Jorge's got that backyard brawl, bare knuckle, whatever they called it with Kimbo Slice and all them. But Usman so far has been a beast in the octagon. So,
yeah.
Truthfully, my only question for this fight is, why the hell is it not for the BMF belt? Like, that's the belt almost every guy, and I'm assuming lady, every fighter wants. So Jorge just frames it and it's done?
So apparently Usman's been texting and harassing Dana and saying, I want that belt. I want that belt. If I beat him, I want that belt. Look, Dana's always contended that belt was a one-time only deal. It was supposed to be a stunt between the fight between Masvidal and Diaz, and the winner gets that bad motherfucker belt. It's like I said, it's a one and done belt. He doesn't want it to have any more. He doesn't want to elevate any more than that. But the problem is, you're right. Every guy's like, I want to be the BMF. Why can't I be the BMF? I'm pretty badass too. If I'm a GOAT, I'm definitely a BMF. So why can't I have gold strapped around my waist as well? I think that's been the problem, that maybe it wasn't clearly defined to the fighters or to the public. I think I've always thought that it was something that could carry and move around in some way. But look, it's a one-time deal. But Masvidal's been carrying it around on his shoulder, walking around with it, posing with it, taking pictures with it, and it's been his identity since he received that belt. So I think that encapsulates a lot of things that people are jealous of, and they want it.
Well, look, I have two thoughts about it. Number one is I hope Masvidal actually brings it with him, and if Usman should win, gives it to him, or has somebody in his corner or whatever. I don't care. Somebody gives it to Usman. And two, and I just thought of this while you were talking, is the UFC accidentally created a belt they can give out for a catchweight fight. Like it could be for the BMF. Like if you have a, I don't know, I'm throwing this out because we've obviously talked about it before. If you have a Jones versus Bazookas, meaning Ngannou, and it's not a heavyweight, it's not a light heavyweight, it's just kind of catchweight because Bones can't get up and Ngannou has no chance of getting down because he's shredded already. You give him the BMF belt. Whoever wins gets it. Catchweight. Done.
Yeah. I look, Usman just wants it because he doesn't like Masvidal. And he's already said, like, look, if I get it, I'm throwing it in the closet and it's going away. Like he wants to basically retire that belt and get rid of it because, and I agree with him, that belt should not be elevated to the same respect that a championship belt should be elevated to, right? I mean, it's a stunt belt a la Bellator. And so I get what he's trying to do, but look, even if he doesn't win that belt, if he beats Masvidal can't walk around as the BMF. Like he has to put that belt on the shelf as well. He can't still walk around and say I'm the BMF. But look, let's talk about this fight. Short notice. These guys have had some little time to prepare for each other. Maybe they always knew they were going to come around and fight each other at some point. Usman's great on the ground, Division II wrestler. Masvidal's great on his feet. If he's got fireworks. I mean, look at the anniversary of him and the Askren fight just came around the other day, and
what was it? 5 seconds?
5 seconds, fastest knockout in UFC history.
Crazy.
So I mean, I think one guy's want to take it down to the mat, the other guy's going to want to keep it standing. There's going to be fireworks either way. I don't see this going five rounds for sure. I think Usman's average fight lasts about 16 minutes, so a little bit over 3 rounds.
That's still a long time.
It's still a long time. So I look, someone's going night. Someone's gonna tap out. Someone's gonna get knocked out. But it's not gonna go 5. I would be surprised. I mean, what do you think?
Look, these two guys are the top of their division, maybe top 2 of 5 fighters in the UFC right now, or top 10. I don't know, however you want to slice that. Is it going to be like a brawl, or is it going to be, two tacticians at the top of their game?
Yeah.
Working it out and like, nope, you're not getting me that way. Nope, you're not getting me this way to the other guys. Like, if that's the case, you might see a 5-rounder. But look, I agree with you. I think somebody's going to get caught, probably on the feet would be my guess. Yeah. I don't see this going to the ground. I don't see it going to deep water. I see a slugfest, truthfully.
And there's a lot of emotion behind this fight because I think that they both don't care for one another. This feels like a real brawl, a real fight.
Well, yeah, but as you well know, having worked in the business and being a fan long enough, you know that half of that crap isn't true anyway. It's just to pump up the fight. I mean, the chosen one, Connor,
absolutely
does it all the time
to motivate. Motivate themselves for sure.
Look, it's great that they do it. I'm totally for it. Knock yourself out, but you got to get in the ring, and everybody's going to trade fists and legs at some point. So
I just appreciate when guys bring some sort of emotion to the fight versus I'm just going to do my thing. He's going to do his thing. We're going to fight and see who's better. It's still a fight at the end of the day. So you like to see some emotion. I think the bigger question is if Masvidal wins, now Burns is kind of the odd man out, right? So, more than likely Masvidal has said that he might want to fight Diaz and give him a title shot, which is interesting.
Well, yeah, who do you give him if he wins?
Or does he call out Conor and get that money fight? But Masvidal will call someone out because that's what he does. So if he wins, he calls somebody out.
All right, fine. We'll play that. If Masvidal wins, who's his next fight? Regardless of who he calls out. Who's he have left?
I think he goes after Conor, and I think Conor comes out of this retirement, and you get that big money fight that the UFC needs in order to stay afloat and make some money. I mean, this is the fight that could make the money that from all the other fights, money that they've lost this year due to COVID. So
Yeah.
that's the way I see it going. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Diaz, or Conor, but it definitely won't be Gilbert Burns.
Yeah, I agree with you. If Conor
Gilbert
comes
Burns
out of
shouldn't have,
retirement,
and Gilbert Burns shouldn't have been propelled to number one to begin with. He shouldn't have gotten the title fight. He should have fought Leon Edwards first before
that's a
moving
tough fight.
up. And that's where I see it going if Masvidal wins. Burns has to fight Leon, and then that person can fight Masvidal after the Conor Diaz stuff.
All right,
Burns
so
needs to fight.
You play both sides of the coin.
Mm-hmm.
We'll play the Masvidal card first. So Masvidal wins. Masvidal is going to fight McGregor or Diaz for the title, meaning his title. He'll put it on the line against McGregor or Diaz, is what you're saying.
Right.
Who does Usman fight in that situation?
I think
Usman loses, he fights Burns?
Look, I think it's either got to be. I think Conor's next. Either way, I think Conor's next.
No, I know, but we're saying right now if Masvidal wins, we know he's going to.
Yeah.
We're guessing he's going to fight Diaz or McGregor. Who does Usman, as the reigning champion, fight to get back to a championship fight? Burns?
Oh, if Masvidal wins?
Yeah, if Masvidal wins.
I mean, usually what's the rotation? Unless it's a super close fight and it goes 5 rounds, you're not going to get getting them to run it back. So, usually they fight 1 or 2 more times.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Who do you give? Who's the number 2?
I think you still make that Usman Burns fight.
So okay, so you give him Burns.
Mm-hmm.
See, what I would do is if you give Masvidal McGregor, assuming that happens, you give Usman Diaz. The winner of that fight gets the champion again.
And there's already bad blood between Usman and Diaz, so I could see
Diaz
that
has bad blood with everybody except his brother.
Well, that's also true. I mean, there's a bit of a logjam, a bit of confusion, and I actually envy the matchmakers if all of these things happen, because it's kind of cool.
You do not envy them at all.
I do, because it's
so badly.
Absolutely, that's why I envy them, because I'm like, I would love to see the Lego pieces kind of fall together and click. And so I think, if Usman loses now, I think it's Burns or Leon Edwards. I think Burns and Leon Edwards are in a collision course. I think that's going to happen first, and then maybe that winner gets the loser of this fight.
Yeah,
right.
I agree. And look, same thing on the other side of the coin. If Usman wins, you got to give him McGregor or Diaz.
Yep.
Masvidal gets the not McGregor or Diaz.
Well,
whoever.
I don't know. I don't know if Diaz gets into the title fight if Usman wins, because I don't see Diaz making that much more money. Making the UFC that much more money than any of these other guys. And also, too, does Diaz deserve to propel upwards? The only reason he'd be in that conversation is because Masvidal feels like he owes him another rematch.
Okay, so let's say, again, both sides of the coin here. Usman wins or Masvidal wins, doesn't matter. Well, I mean, we think they're going to fight the same people. So let's say McGregor says, no, I'm good. I'm staying retired. So Usman or Masvidal fights the winner of Burns-Leon
Edwards.
So they got to wait?
Yeah.
But then you got Diaz, if they ever freaking get a deal done. Diaz brothers are such badasses. Like, look, I know your opinion on them and you know mine. Like, in the ring, they're ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, look, I appreciate and I love them as fighters. I just, I think that they don't necessarily continue to they're not consistently earning their stripes like other fighters are. So that's what
both of them by this point have had well-storied careers. I mean, Nick and Nate Diaz have been in the game for long enough to have earned.
And you think that propels them in the top 3 conversation all day long?
Oh, look, I think, and I don't know if you agree, but I think, Nick? Yeah, Nick is the older brother, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think Nick Diaz is way underrated for what he was back in the day. Like, he was a true MMA fighter in an era when you had very skilled fighters in one area. You had the karate guys, you had the judo
Mm-hmm.
guys, you had the jiu-jitsu guys. And then Nick came along and was like, I'm everything, bring it.
Yeah.
And both brothers don't care who you put in front of them. They're like, I'll fight anybody. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. That's what makes it interesting, because I feel like Masvidal is like Diaz 2.0. Right?
Without the flicking people off while he has somebody in a triangle.
Right. Like, I think attitude and just kind of how they've come up, I feel like he's a 2.0 fighter from them. I think it's interesting. I don't know what's going to happen if Usman wins. I still think Leon Edwards needs to get his chance to be able to have a piece of that conversation. But it all hinges on Conor McGregor.
I agree.
Yeah, moving on to the other title fight. I mean, Alexander Volkanovski and Max Holloway, right? So the first time they fought, Volkanovski, I think really surprised Holloway, and everybody was anointing Holloway as this
the greatest featherweight ever.
This featherweight GOAT, which I was just like, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know if he deserves that yet, right? Like, I mean, I don't think he deserved that title. There's a lot of other guys in that division that I think can be that, but it wasn't him. So this one will be interesting because I think that Volkanovski surprised Holloway and really pressed him, and Holloway couldn't handle the press. And so if Holloway switches up, plays a southpaw, and is used to and is going to combat Volkanovski coming in using more leg kicks and keeping him out, I think Holloway can win this. It's an interesting fight for me.
Look, I agree. I think it's a fantastic rematch. Look, it was a unanimous decision. It went to the cards.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you. Holloway didn't look prepared for Volkanovski, whether they didn't have the tape on him, they didn't have a training partner that fought like him. Who knows? No idea. But again, it's a great fight. I mean, how do you pick one guy over the other? It's like, who's going to have the better game plan? Who had the better coaching? Who had the better training camp? Who comes out and just is feeling it that night compared to the guy that comes out and is like, I'm not having my best day ever. I mean, that's really, I think, is what it's going to come down to.
Yeah.
I mean, if I had to pick one, honestly, I'd have to flip a coin, and however it came out, that's what I'd pick. Yeah.
I think Holloway gets back on a winning streak and gets his title back.
I can't pick against you there because they're both amazing fighters.
It's whoever's game plan, wins, obviously, but I think that Holloway is going to make his adjustments, and he's more of a fluid fighter than Volkanovski is.
And for the next three fights, I can assume who you're picking.
All right, next one up is bantamweight. So Peter Yan and arguably a GOAT in Jose Aldo.
I mean, it's not even an argument. Jose Aldo's had an amazing career.
Oh, absolutely. He is definitely a GOAT. I read an interesting story that Dantes, one of Aldo's gym mates, talked about how Yan came a couple times and trained in, I think it's Unao Nova, where Aldo trains, and he was able to kind of observe Yan, and obviously seeing and training with Aldo made it an interesting comparison. Obviously it was from 4 years ago, so Yan was still an up and coming fighter. But he basically said, like, look, no matter how much he's improved over the last 4 years, there's just no way he can beat Jose Aldo. You take that with a grain of salt, right? Because they're training partners, they're buddies. They're basically family. But I think whoever is on their game for this one is going to get that abandoned belt. We can call it abandoned, right? Open. Abandoned.
I think that about almost all the 5 main card fights, truthfully, there's so many equal parts. I mean, even in the bantamweight with Peter Yan versus Jose Aldo, you got Sambo versus Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, so that nearly cancels itself out. So then you're gonna keep it on the feet.
What's interesting to me is since Aldo fought Conor McGregor, he's had kind of an up and down journey, and he's lost a little bit of that shine, and I think this is his opportunity to get that shine back. So I think that there's a lot more on the line for Jose Aldo than Peter Yan. Peter is gonna have a long storied career in the UFC, but I think that this is Aldo's time. I'm picking Aldo.
All right. Nah, we'll do pick'ems later. No picking yet. God damn it.
All right.
All
So
right,
next one, women's strawweight.
If you're not picking
Jessica
Rose,
Andrade and Rose.
If you're not picking Rose, I'm leaving right now.
Thug Rose Namajunas. Dude, I mean, look, this is going to be a fun fight to watch because Andrade is a bulldozer. She likes coming in and just swinging. She'll take those hits to get in and just pound. You know, she is a fighter's fighter, right? And Rose is a tactician on the ground, sharp leg kicks. Is she going to be able to keep Andrade outside? That's tough. That's going to be tough. She's just going to have to keep moving and circling and hopefully catch her with a leg kick. Or I'm interested to see what happens if it gets on the ground because I think they're both pretty solid down there. But it's one of those. How do you fight a bulldozer?
Well, look, if it goes to the ground, I'll take the Brazilian. Just nature of the beast.
Yeah.
But I don't. Yeah, again, this is a pick'em fight to me. Rose is great. Jessica's great. How do you pick against somebody? I mean, I know we're going to do pick'em in a minute once we get through the next fight, but I like every fight in this card. This card's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. I think that this is definitely a fun fight. I think Rose gets back into title contention. I don't know what happens with Andrade here. I don't know if she gets title contention if she wins. This will be interesting. I'm just confused about Andrade's career, up and down, left and right.
Yeah.
So we'll see. And then finally, women's flyweight. We got Amanda Ribas and PVZ, Paige Van Zant.
Is she gonna change her last name? Did she get married?
I don't know. Who cares? She's moonwalking on Instagram. She's out there modeling. Really? Yeah, she's modeling. She's acting. She's got all these different things.
Good for her.
You know, she talked. And then she talked about looking at how much she's earned, and she could have had a regular job making the money that she did with the UFC.
That's frightening.
And it was an interesting conversation that she had with a reporter where she talked about, I love the UFC. I love everything they've given and done for me, but I don't make enough money, right? It was this weird, like, roundabout conversation where it's like, I realize what they've done for me. I don't want to say too much because this is the last fight on her contract. And so she's like, I don't want to say too many bad things, but also know I'm not getting paid what I should be making. And then she talked about how, I mean, she's had an issue with a broken arm, which kept her out and sidelined for a while, and re-breaking and all of that stuff. And then realizing that the UFC only pays a year of their medical bills. And then her recovery was longer than a year. So she actually had to dip into her own savings.
I did not know that.
To pay for her recovery. So I think that there's this interesting conversation about what happens. But let's talk about the fight first. I mean, Amanda Ribas 9-1. PVZ is 8-4.
Deep water. I'm just saying it.
I've never been impressed with Paige's fight game. I'm not as impressed as her looks. I mean, she's always been kind of, I'm not trying to demean her, but she's always been the pretty face. You know, it's like a Sage Northcutt, right? Like, just pretty face.
Let's not bring up that name.
Yeah, but you know, it's just like, is she really a fighter? Is she? I mean, the minute she starts talking about, I could have made more money in a regular job, and I have to evaluate what I want to do with my life, not fight career, but life. That instantly tells me that you are not fully invested in being a fighter, and you don't really see it as the long-term solution if you have these other, that you're considering other options, is what I'm saying, right? Because fighting and sports in general are those things that you have to be completely dedicated to, and you can't really pussyfoot around it. You got to be all in. And
Well, yeah,
I
I
don't know.
agree.
I don't know if she's all in. I mean, I don't know. Is she just like a circus attraction? You know, is
Well,
she just?
look, I got to agree and disagree with you. I have no issue with her saying, look, I got to reevaluate. I've not made enough money because Masvidal, Bones, the Diaz brothers have said basically the same thing. Those guys are just in a position to actually hold out because they're either the champion or they're really, really, really top flight, going to fight for the championship.
They've earned the right.
Correct.
They've made enough money
She's
to earn that
not
right.
in that position, but I don't knock her in any way for saying it. The fighters need to say that. If it's her, I don't care who it is. In my opinion, they need to unionize. They should have done it already. So it's like,
the thing about her is the low skill set, the kind of average fighter, but then she has this like super huge following because, let's make no bones about it. She's pretty and she has a great personality and she does fun stuff on social media. And the UFC kind of hyped around her when she first came into the UFC. So she's she has these two careers within the UFC where she's really, really popular because of a few things, but it's not necessarily because of her fighting, right? So
yeah,
she could actually be that type of fighter that says, hey, I need more money. I need to earn more. And people might actually listen is what I'm saying, right? They're not going to listen to, a fighter with her record and her skill set, but has no real clout. Like she actually has some clout because she's popular. That's where I'm going.
Yeah, no, look, I agree that she has clout, but I don't care who it is from the UFC or from the fighters that says we're not making enough money, we need to make more, I have to reevaluate. I just, as you know, wish they would all get together and unionize because I think it would help all of them. Now, it might hurt some of them in terms of the money they could make as an individual as opposed to a union because there might be caps. I don't know. I'm not a union person. I don't know how that works. Have not been privy to any union contracts in my entire life. But look, she has every right to say this, and darn well she should. And she should get other people on board. And if she can do that with her following to get other fighters to join her, then that's amazing. Yeah. And look, I don't care who the union rep is. Make it be her. If she's the face of it, congratulations. That's amazing.
Now, I just remember watching, what was it? It was Tate versus Rousey. Rousey comes in, she's a beast, she's mad, she's angry, she's stalking in the octagon, and here comes Misha. Her fight song was her walk-in song was a Katy Perry song, and I just remember I was with Brendan Schaub, and he looks at me and goes,
"You texted me. I remember this. You're like, she's gonna lose."
Yeah, and I was like, and I look at Schaub, and Schaub looks at me and he goes, "Tate thinks this is a joke." And I was like, what? And he goes, she thinks Ronda's playing. Ronda's going to beat the shit out of her. And, look, outside of that fight, that really just tells me, like, it goes back to what I'm saying. If you're not completely dedicated to the game, then the game moves on and rolls over you. So I don't know what her end game is. I don't know if this is all negotiation ploy. My prediction is Amanda Ribas pounds her in a submission. Paige Van Zant leaves the UFC, goes to Bellator so she can get her money through sponsorships or what have you, and then she ends up replacing Yanakova or any of those other female fighters that Bellator loves to have. They love to have they love that combo pretty fighters that draw in the males like no one's business. But that's my prediction. But let's actually go through top bottom. Let's do some pick'ems.
All right, fine. Look, first of all, just real quick, I got to go in deep water.
Okay.
I got Amanda dragging her down. I have no issue with ground. I agree on ground and pound. I just say it. Amanda's going to try and take this fight to the ground. I think she'll be successful at it. And from there, look, Paige Van Zant's like a brown or purple belt, one of those. Very skilled. Don't get me wrong. More skills than I will ever have in that department. But Amanda's got ground game, so that's where I see it going. Yep. But we'll see. All right. So where do you want to start? You want to start at the co-champs here?
Let's start with Amanda and Paige. Let's go bottom up.
All right, Amanda and Paige. I'll take Amanda because I think it's going to go deep water.
I'm taking Amanda third round, early third, tap.
You're taking third round?
I'm taking third round tap because I
right.
just think that Paige is going to be
down.
able to, Paige is going to be able to elude, but eventually Amanda will catch up to her.
All right, I'll take like mid-second round.
Okay, Andrade Namajunas.
I know who you're taking, so I'll take Andrade. Why not?
I'm gonna take Thug Rose. That's my girl.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna take her. There no way you're not.
Look, if it's a tough fighter, I'm always gonna take him. I just will. But I think that Rose is gonna learn from the last fight. She's gonna keep her outside. She's gonna keep moving around. She's gonna stick and move, and then when the opportunity arrives, she's gonna try to take her down.
I can see that fight going to the ground too, by the way, and having in a ground battle between the two of them.
Yeah.
And if it does, I think it's kind of an even match.
Yeah. I actually think this one goes the distance.
Really? You think it's going to go all 15?
Yeah, I think it's going to go all the way through because I think that's where it's going to end up on the ground, and it's going to take some time for any one of them to get anything done, and I think there's going to be some exchanges. But
all right. Look, I can't honestly. Every fight here is a pick 'em. Literally, just flip a coin. Let me know how it comes out. All right, bantamweight.
Bantamweight title bout. Jan Aldo.
Well, supposedly a title bout. We'll actually see what the hell happens, but it's not listed as one. But who the hell knows?
No, it's listed as a title bout.
Oh, it is now?
Yeah.
Oh, miracles do happen.
Yeah.
I don't know what to take. Flip a coin. I'll take Jan. Why not? No, I'll take Jan.
You're going against the GOAT, huh? Look, I think that, like I said earlier, I think Aldo gets back into gets that shine back and puts another belt on his.
I don't like it. I don't like picking against Aldo because I love watching Aldo fight, but why not? I'll take Jan. Screw it.
Look, I mean, these guys are going to pound each other. I'm taking Aldo first round KO.
You're taking first round? All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, fine. Featherweight championship.
Bold. Yep, featherweight.
818 versus wherever the hell Volkanovski's from. Volkanovski.
Russia.
Yeah.
I think I said this earlier. I mean, I think Holloway fights out of southpaw, keeps Volkanovski at bay, and is able to. I think it's going to be a great exchange, and I'm going to the distance on this one too. 3 rounds of just pounding each other.
5 rounds. Championship.
Oh yes, I'm sorry. 5 rounds of pounding each other.
Come on now. Get your ish together.
Yeah.
Look, I'll stick. This is a coin flip again. I like both fighters so much.
Pick somebody.
Fine, I'll take the champ.
All right.
But I don't think it's going the distance. I think it's going to end in 4.
Okay. All right. Usman, Masvidal. And one thing I have to say before we make this prediction is Masvidal had the opportunity to really tilt the whole fighter pay in the fighter's favor if he would have not signed this deal. I think that it's unfortunate that he signs this long-term deal because now he's out of the contract negotiation thing, out of the union thing, kind of like, I think lost a good soldier when Masvidal signed that deal. And I can't fault anyone for getting their money, going out and getting what's best for them. But I think that it's unfortunate.
Look, I agree with you on all fronts there. I think that he would have been a great forefront for the union if and when they ever figure it out. But at the same time, I can't blame him to be like, look, I got to get paid. I need money. Got to support myself, my family, whomever. I don't know. What was it? 10 fights or 10 years? What was the deal?
10 fights, yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of fights. So is it going to be the same situation that just happened? Well, let's pick it first, and then we'll get into that.
Yeah. I'm going Usman. Look, my heart says Masvidal because I love Masvidal. But Usman's a beast, man.
Yeah, look, I feel Usman is kind of the Bazooka and Ngannou of that division. So
absolutely,
I can't pick against it. But Masvidal is such a bad man. I mean, dude, from street fights, bare knuckle.
Yeah.
So
he figures it out, right? He's a fighter. He's a fighter, and he's just able to figure it all out.
Like, I'm gonna get my ass kicked for a round and a half sometimes, and then figure out your shit, and I'm gonna put you to sleep or knock you out or drag you through the distance. Yeah. So
this would not be one I'd be surprised if I didn't get it right because this one's worth. If the other 4 fights sucked, this is the fight that I'd be most excited about anyway.
Yeah, look, just to counter you, I'll take Masvidal. So we're on opposite sides of the coin, but I like both fighters. I can see both winning. It hopefully will be an amazing championship fight. Hopefully it's the fight of the year. But this is one of those fights that if you're a betting person, I don't know how you pick. Like, how do you pick against either fighter? And I've got to imagine that the odds are going to sway. I mean, I get the champion's a champion, and he's going to get probably the negative, meaning, you bet on him, you win more money. Or the positive, sorry, you bet on him and you don't lose money, but you don't get as much. But still, it's like, come on.
Yeah,
right, so
I mean,
so the topic I mentioned earlier about why the hell is this not for the BMF belt? Like, what the crap? Masvidal just should bring it with him and just should give it to him.
Look, I mean, I think Masvidal, this is his identity. He should have just put it on the shelf because now everybody wants it, right? I mean,
I don't even fight.
The UFC had to have known that this was a belt that they were creating that other guys just wanted. I mean, it's like creating a goat belt, right? It's like creating a goat belt. Like, everybody's gonna want that belt.
They should create a goat belt. That'd be funny.
It's called the UFC Hall of Fame.
No, that's not the goat belt.
That's what that's equivalent is what I'm saying. Look, I agree with Dana. It was a one-time thing. And I agree with Usman. It diminishes the value of a real championship belt when you have those things. They should have made it a scepter, or a big ghetto chain, like Run DMC style.
Well, like the Miami defensive chain
with like a giant medallion.
The U.
Something
the U
like
chain
that
for the defense when they take away, break out the turnover chain.
Look, I remember when I worked Kimbo Slice Dada 5000. It was we called it the Fight for the Streets. It was but
it killed that one guy.
Look, it was supposed to be a fight where we're talking about this is how you get street certified, right? Like if he wins, he'll get. If Dada wins, that's a street certification, right?
Killed him.
Look, I mean, they both kind of died a little bit.
Dude, you want to watch a guy have a heart attack in the ring? Watch that fight.
I died a little bit, and one day maybe we'll have an episode where I talk about the behind the scenes and me following
we should
5000
and during UFC 252.
And Kimbo Slice. I had a really cool opportunity to be with them and document them leading up to that fight in Houston. But look, I mean, that's kind of what it was, right? What this is. It's so, look, if Usman wins, he's the champ, and he walks away with the most important belt, the welterweight.
You know what? I just thought of this. Do you think that Usman, if he wins, goes up or down to try and be the champ? Although I don't know if he can, because like Ngannou, he's yoked out of his mind.
I mean, isn't that the flavor of the month?
Like flavor.
You fight some guys and you feel like you've accomplished something and you want to challenge yourself, and the way to do it is to go up or down a division and go ahead and take that belt, which makes it interesting. But I would never be surprised by any of these guys ever wanting to be a champ. They see Conor doing it, and others doing it. Yeah, DC's done it. So everybody wants to be a champion.
Has done it. She's a beast.
Yeah. But
one more question for you, because I know we've talked about this, but never.